On February 24, 2022, Russia launched its unjust, brutal assault against Ukraine. Putin thought he could quickly topple his enemy. Over the last year, Western allies provided critical support to the people of Ukraine, working in close coordination with their government to get them what they need. From the javelins that halted the Russian tanks assaulting Kyiv, to the air defense systems that make it harder for the Russians to attack Ukraine's critical infrastructure, to the armored vehicles that they need for the next phase of this conflict. In this video, we listed the top 5 best Western weapons supplied to Ukraine. However, I would like to point out that I will focus on that what shoots, flies, and explodes, and I will ignore equipment such as reconnaissance drones, food rations, or bulletproof vests. Let's get started. Number 5 is the FGM-148 Javelin. The Javelin entered service with the U.S. Army in 1996. Ready-to-use system consists of a command launch unit, or CLU for short, which can also be used to observe the enemy, and a missile with a tandem warhead, which can destroy vehicles equipped with explosive reactive armor, which is widely used on Russian vehicles. The big advantage of this weapon is that it can attack its target both directly and from above, where the armor is relatively thin. The Russians even tried to somehow deal with it by installing makeshift metal cages over the turrets of their tanks, or by reinforcing the top of the tank's turrets with additional reactive armor. A single launcher prepared for the shot weighs just over 22 kilograms, and its range is up to 4 kilometers, which, combined with the flat terrain in eastern Ukraine and the fact that it could be carried and operated by a single soldier, gives it a huge advantage over the Russians, who do not possess a similar type of weapon. Number 4 is the Leopard 2A6. The Leopard 2A6, which entered service in the Bundeswehr in 2001, is a further development of the Leopard 2A5. The main differences of this 62 tons tank are enhanced frontal and side armor, as well as improved firepower. The Leopard 2A6 is armed with the Rheinmetall 120mm L55 smoothbore gun, which is a longer version of the earlier L44 used in the previous variants. It can use all older projectiles, like the DM-33, but the longer gun's more accurate and allows the rounds to attain higher velocities, which turns into bigger penetration. So far, 21 Leopard 2A6s have been donated to Ukraine from Germany and Portugal. Number 3 is the MIM-104 Patriot. It's a surface-to-air and anti-ballistic missile system that entered service in the United States in the 1980s. Its task is to combat all kinds of air threats, such as aircraft or cruise missiles, like the KH-555s or KH-101s, used by the Russians in Ukraine. The Patriot's AN/MPQ-65 radar set is capable to detect targets at a distance of more than 150 kilometers and has the ability to track up to 100 of them at the same time. So far, it's not known exactly what missiles Ukraine will receive, but it will probably be the PAC-2 missiles, which destroy the target using a fragmentation warhead, which explodes in its vicinity, and have a range of more than 100 kilometers. The second type of missile is the PAC-3, which destroys its targets with sheer kinetic force, and has a range of 30 kilometers. So far, the US has decided to deliver to Ukraine one battery consisting of 6 launchers. In addition, it will probably be reinforced with 2 launchers provided by the Netherlands. Interestingly, one battery consisting of 8 launchers was handed over to Ukraine by Germany. Number 2 is the Bayraktar TB2. The Bayraktar TB2 is a male-class medium-altitude long-endurance unmanned combat aerial vehicle capable of conducting surveillance, reconnaissance, as well as combat missions using guided missiles carried on 4 bomb racks under its wings. The TB2 can stay airborne for up to 27 hours, and the operation range is up to 150 kilometers from its ground control station. In the first months of the war, the Ukrainians were able to use their TB2s to exploit the weaknesses of the Russians in the form of the lack of a sufficient number of air defense systems in the combat zone, often destroying entire columns of their equipment, thus avoiding defeat. However, since then, the front line's been shortened, and the Russians have begun to put more emphasis on providing their units with adequate air defense. That's why the Ukrainian TB2s are currently used only for reconnaissance operations, conducted out of the range of Russian air defense. Number 1 is the MIM-142 HIMARS. The MIM-142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System is a multiple rocket launcher mounted on a chassis of an armored truck, introduced into service in the early 2000s, and first adopted by the US Army and the United States Marine Corps. The delivery of HIMARS to Ukraine means that together with a Ukrainian-developed Wilcha, for which they already lack ammunition, gives them the ability to precisely strike targets at long distances, unattainable by systems such as the 9K-79 Tochka-U. The US has provided the Ukrainians with two types of 227mm rockets: the M30A1 alternative warhead with a range of 84 kilometers. It has a 91-kilogram high-explosive warhead with a proximity fuse and approximately 182,000 preformed tungsten fragments for area effects without unexploded ordnance. The second type of rocket is the M31A1 GMLRS Unitary, with a 91-kilogram high-explosive warhead and a programmable fuse. It has a range of up to 84 kilometers as well. It can hit targets accurately with less chance of collateral damage while needing fewer rockets to be fired, reducing logistical requirements. In addition, the M142 can also fire FGM-148 Army tactical missile system, with a range of up to 300 kilometers, but they will not be handed over to Ukraine for fear of the possibility of shelling targets deep inside Russian territory. Instead, the US will deliver later this year ground-launched small-diameter bombs with a range of 150 kilometers. Before the war, the US had over 410 M142 HIMARS rocket launchers. So far, they've decided to donate 20 of them to Ukraine and finance the purchase of 18 more. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, visit my second channel with military power comparisons. See you next time!